Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, we got an absolutely fantastic show. We got a returning guest, been on the show quite a few times. And every time this young lady come on the show, she bring a whole lot of uh, different knowledge that, she add on to it and inspire others to maybe think about what you're putting in your body because it could have a negative effect on you, or certainly when it comes to weight and healthiness and a lot of other great things. So I am excited because I know I'm gonna learn a whole lot more again today. But before I even start, I can't do anything without Dr. Michelle Cooley uh, joining in and doing her thing. How you doing? How you doing, Michelle?
I am doing fantastic. I love having this guest on the show. When it was presented with two different topics, I was like, I want to know about both of them. So I'm going to split the show in half. And an hour is not enough to do her justice, but we're going to ask her the questions. She's going to educate the audience, and we're going to have some fun in the meantime.
Wow, I'll tell you what, I'm excited. One other thing I'm excited about, Michelle, is we're going syndicated beginning Monday.
Yes.
And we're going to be live on many, many platforms across the world. And I'm excited about that because we'll be able to bring great guests like the one, I'm not going to give it away, that we have on today to showcase a product around the world. So anyway, I'm excited about this one. And also, our viewers out there, wherever you're watching us at, whether you watch us on the E36 television, transfer YouTube, TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or over 55, 60 platforms, welcome to the show. If you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Michelle, can you please do the intro, introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this great, great guest?
Oh, most definitely. So the title of today's show is What is fast food doing? What is fast food doing to your body in 60 minutes? And 7 tips for preventing foodborne illnesses. Wow, I'm interested in that. So we're having a sit-down discussion with Dr. Julie Gatza. She's a nutritional health educator and one of the nation's top chiropractic physicians. She's going to talk about how your body reacts to fast food within 60 minutes. 5 tips for beating fast food blowback. And she's going to talk about summer food safety, symptoms of food poisoning, and digestive enzymes and probiotics. She's a health educator. Again, she's nation's top chiropractic physician with 30 years of clinical practice, during which she assisted many thousands of patients resolve a wide variety of physical ailments. Using her understanding of the nervous system, nutritional alternative therapies, Dr. Gatza's mission with each patient is to enhance their body's potential to heal itself. She currently serves as spokesman for Nature Sources, distributors of Absorb A digestive enzymes. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. Julie Gatza.
Hi.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. Nice to see you both.
It's been too long. It's been too long, Doc.
It has been a long time.
We are thirsting. The world is thirsting for education, especially when it's going to make them healthier, give them some insight, and give them an opportunity to think about what they're putting in their body. So, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you.
Hey, Dr. Julie, can you tell our viewers and listeners who might have not seen you on previous shows a little bit about you? What make you click, and why are you so passionate about your job?
So yes, of course, I'm 3rd generation chiropractor. I have been in practice now for 34 years, and I specialize in basically fixing a lot of the chronic problems that people are frustrated with the medical traditional aspects of getting things under control. So I put a lot of focus on the digestive system because I found that if you actually correct what's happening digestively, so many other things will fall into place. But if that's ignored or pretended it's not that important, people generally will suffer with the same problems or get different ones or new ones simply because they haven't corrected digestion. It's where you get all your nutrition. It's where you absorb. And there's so much to it, and it's sort of ignored in the normal daily life unless you are alternative, looking for solutions, but it's not really taught in school that this is probably the most important area of your body.
Wow. So just like I mentioned, you've been on the show a few times, and every time you bring a different topic, which is absolutely wonderful. But I always have to throw just a little wrench in there. In the beginning, the first segment is always getting to know the guest.
Right.
If you had to come up with one adjective to describe who you are and what you stand for, what would that be?
Logical.
I love it. Explain.
Well, once I explain things to a patient that's either believing me or doesn't believe me when they walk in, because generally what I found being a chiropractor comes along with the title of no one believes you. So knowing that is how we're going to start, then I better be very logical, make some sense, plead to what it is that they actually want to improve, and then give them results in a short period of time so that they actually stick with what they should be doing so that they can see results. And that's why it's so logical. You don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to, wish for things. You just have to follow a step-by-step logical program and people improve.
I love that. I mean, that's I never got that answer before. That is absolutely fantastic. Dr. Julie, as Michelle mentioned, we're going to talk about two different topics today, which I think both of them are equally important. And so, why did you choose these two topics to discuss? And what are you hoping for our viewers and listeners to get some takeaways from this?
Well, with the influx of social media and how many things are changed in our lives in a very short period of time, we're tremendously influenced, especially a younger crowd, by things that they didn't get to grow up in our generation. So we didn't have this sort of exposure to, what foods are now okay to eat, and drinks and coffees and stimulants and kratom and all sorts of crazy things, not to mention the huge amount of fast food restaurants that are out there. And when all this is going on, I don't think that there's much education on why it's important to do, normal things. And because, technology has changed so much in our lives in such a short period of time. And I do believe that people think that our bodies have changed as well. And they're the same meat bodies that we had in caveman times. So we still have to adhere to the principles of, good food and good nutrition and being able to absorb and, treating the body the way that it needs to so it can continue to be healthy and not give you problems and last a long, healthy life. And it's not happening that easily anymore because things are altered so well. And it's, the influence of all the media.
And you're absolutely right. It's and a lot of people live in a sedentary life. They ain't doing nothing, ain't moving around, ain't doing nothing, just eating fast food and not even thinking about the consequences.
That's right. I mean, it's great for taste buds, but when you really break down what it does to the body, it's awfully rough on it.
Yeah, Michelle and I kind of push back on a lot of the fast food because one of the things that her and I do, we compete, among each other online. We take among ourselves and say who's going to lose the most weight or get in the best shape. And so I believe that a lot of those things challenging your your friend, your spouse, or whatever that might be, to start thinking about better, healthy habits and eating right.
Right.
And also adding all the things that you tell them about the exercises and that stuff in there as well. So let's talk about the first topic right now. Fast foods. Uh, what exactly? First of all, let's tell our viewers and listeners what is considered fast food.
Well, I label it in two ways. I call it food and unfood. Food would be like taking a piece of fish and putting it up against a box of French fries. That piece of fish has enzymes and minerals and good proteins and good fats and all the things that actually makes up food. You put that up against a box of French fries, no protein, no good fats, laden with sugars and salts and no vitamins and minerals. So what it does is when you're eating an unfood, it doesn't give you nutrition. It actually takes from your reserves so that it can be broken down and the toxins can be pushed out. So it's a negative gain to eat fast foods, and it causes such problems in the body. Even if you're healthy, you're still battling this. It's just a matter of time before it shows up or how often you do it. And it's robbing your reserves and utilizing more nutrition than it's giving.
Well, you're absolutely right. And what are some of the negative effects? I mean, I know it's a lot that many people don't even think about, or if they do think about it, they try to blank it away from their mind.
Right.
And next thing you know, they 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, or their high blood pressure, cholesterol level, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What would you tell other folks that unconsciously is indulging in a lot of these things, and when it comes time to go to a doctor and they find out they have these problems and they don't know who to blame?
So, I treated a lot of diabetics over the years successfully. And really, all it means is something went south. So generally stating is if you have high blood sugar, you will be put on some medication. It brings down your blood sugar, and now you're a treated diabetic. Well, why don't we just get to the source of the problem? And the source of the problem is often digestion. So with that, treating people digestively and putting the good nutrients in and the good foods in and taking out the toxins and making sure that they're not inflamed, that will bring down their blood sugar naturally. And I've done it from so many ages. It's a normal process to have normal blood sugar. It's abnormal to have it too high. So the question is why?
Hold that thought, because we got to take a station break. But I want you to explain what you were just saying. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a station break.
Okay.
And we're gonna come back.
All right.
We're gonna pick it up because we got a whole lot to discuss. And if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you are watching us on. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer because it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break. welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, we were just getting started, and Michelle gonna take this segment, but I want Julie to explain, piggyback off what she was talking about, because we had to take the station break, and we were talking about putting the effects of things, and some people don't even know it. Compulsion eater, putting McDonald's every day, all that other type of stuff, and the effect that that can have on them when they go to the doctor, and they got all type of problems. So, Dr. Julie, can you pick up on that one?
I sure can. So anytime that you are, if you think about it this way, let's put it in a perfect world. A baby starts off life 100% working. The day that we die, we have 0% working. A person doesn't have a symptom until they've lost about 65% of their normal function. So by the time that you actually recognize something isn't working properly, you already are well into loss of normal in the body. So now you go to the doctor, let's say you have high blood sugar, and they say, wow, you have high blood sugar. This is the first time we've seen this. And then that you say, oh yeah, this runs in my family. And everyone writes it off and gives you medication, and that's that. You're a diabetic for the rest of your life, which isn't healthy. So if we actually lose this amount of function and you go to the doctor and they say, wow, you've lost this amount of function, let's see what we can do to bring back your function, rather than throwing you into some category that blames it on your genetics or lazily keeps you from having to do what it takes to improve your health. So my goal is to go in and get to the why, tell the people why it is that they've lost function, figure that out with them and watch the results. And this reason I continue to do what I do for 34 years is it continues to work. So I haven't changed what I do because I see there's same results with the same things that I'm doing.
So Dr. Gatza, can you tell us what happens in 60 minutes with the whole fast food eating? What happens to your body? And I know everybody's different, but can you give us an average?
Sure.
I guess I would say average, a description of basically what happens with your body if you gorge you on fast food.
So you decide you're going to eat some fast food. You take your car, you roll into the drive-through, you order your food, and I'm sure it's not the top of the healthy list when you're doing it that way. So let's just say it's the average fast food meal. Within about 5 minutes, your sugar begins to rise. You are feeling a surge of energy. You're happy you did it. Everyone in the car that you've also fed is doing great. If they were in, not such great moods or a little hangry before, now everyone's good. 15 minutes later, you start to get dehydrated. Once you're dehydrated, it's the salt in the food, and now you need to actually drink something. So the thirstier you become, generally with fast foods, you're ordering some carbonated drink. Well, carbonation changes how you absorb. When you have carbonation in your drinks, along with coffee, tea, or soda pops in general, you're supposed to have an acidic digestive system. In an acid environment, you absorb your nutrition. In an alkaline environment, you cannot get those nutrients broken down properly. So within 15 minutes, you're drinking a Coke, which further keeps you from actually absorbing the nutrients that you possibly could have gotten from that ill nutrient food or low nutrient food in the first place. So we're looking 15 minutes in, now 20 minutes in, you can feel some heartburn. Maybe you feel a little too full. Maybe you're feeling like, oh, it's slower to digest. It's spending longer time in your digestive system. So it starts to come up the esophagus. This may not happen with everybody, but this is undigested food starts to not move properly in the body, and you can often experience this heartburn type feeling. Within 30 minutes, you're pretty bloated. You want to unbutton your first button for your pants. You're sitting back going, oh my goodness, I maybe ate too much, ate too fast. Boy, why did I have that, that extra hamburger with it? And about 45 minutes later, you have a sugar drop. Now, once your sugar drop, it will happen because once you've spiked it up, now, however high you spiked it, you will drop lower than where you started. And this is where you get the insulin surge, and then you get the blood sugar crash. So 50 minutes later, everyone's in a sort of a surly mood. Nobody's doing quite well. The kids are fighting in the back. You're maybe irritable with people at work. And 55 minutes, poor concentration. You just can't concentrate. You want to crawl under your desk and take a little nap, and you've got brain fog. And 60 minutes, now you have inflammation, and that's inflammation in the intestine. And what will happen is when you've got that inflammation, nutrients aren't absorbed. Your body's working to handle that with whatever reserves you've got. And if you have a weak link, let's say your back is sort of been a problem, well, now that inflammation is going straight to the weak link. So this is the 60-minute rundown of pretty much what happens to everybody when they're eating it. You may not just notice it yet, but generally those symptoms are coming once you've lost 65%.
Fast food, I got to ask this question about, I know parents always want to take the kids to McDonald's and where any of these fast food restaurants because I believe that they think it's a treat or something, but not every day. What are
Right.
your thoughts on that?
To be honest, we fooled our kid fully. We told her that bad kids eat at McDonald's, and as a punishment, you have to go to McDonald's to eat. And so she actually didn't know that that was not true until she went to some school event. And fortunately, they all took them to McDonald's, and she came home and they must have had undone or uncooked chicken tenders. So she came home and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. Fast food is for bad kids." She said, "I can't believe it. The chicken was not cooked. McDonald's is disgusting." And so she's 28 now, and she laughs and she said she's never had a McDonald's hamburger in her life. She said she's had the fries, but she's not a fast food eater because it just wasn't on our docket of foods to eat. I was taking her to her sports and ballet and things like that. We always made her hard-boiled eggs. We would make her a lunchbox with real food in it, and then she would eat that in the car before or after. And it's cheaper, it's healthier, and your kid learns good habits, and you're not spending a lot of money because fast food is expensive.
It's extremely expensive now.
Right.
So, Julia, do kids digest fast foods more quickly? I don't even know than adults. What's the correlation?
You mean as far as kids with what?
Or do they digest?
Digest.
Faster than the adults because again.
No, they still have, they may have not so much beaten up problems on their systems. And, treating kids, they respond really quickly. So they don't usually take as much time at all to get them back on the healthy train. But the fact is they still have the ability to break down food. We all are supposed to be making adequate amount of enzymes when we eat food. We break it down. Those nutrients go into the bloodstream. This is how you stay healthy. It's the only way. You can't lay in a bathtub of vitamins and get nutrition. So when kids are eating fast foods, they are experiencing these same things. You give it to them more commonly. And now we take a look around. We've got overweight kids. We've got kids who are having learning disabilities. We've got kids who are more emotional. We've got kids who are sleeping in class. We have kids who have dark circles under the eyes. We have kids who have behavioral problems off the wall. And let's take a look at that kid's meals for one full week. And then we can truly get a full picture of, is this really a health problem or is this a habit problem?
Well, you know what? I believe, and just comment, please, Dr. Gatza, that all this fast food, it kind of affects your mental health. I mean, if you're feeling a sort of way, depressed or anxious, loading up on the sugar and sodium and just fast foods is not going to help. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I've seen so many people bring themselves, their kids in, and, after doing history, maybe they came in for something that's, generally mechanic, and doing a history. And I find out, they're having ups and downs in life. And as soon as we start to clean up what they're doing dietary wise, including kids, we see such a change. The parents are like, "I can't believe it. The kids are concentrating in school. My little girl isn't so weepy." I have a niece that she absolutely is food related, a pain in the butt. And when she's following a good diet, she's a joy. When she's not, she is a running terror around the house. And we know it and see it so commonly now that it's just like, okay. And she's seeing it to this point that she's, you know, starting to follow a better diet because she's happier when she is.
I bet. You know, during Halloween time, that must be crazy for the parents, especially when they go trick-or-treating and bring all that sugar home.
Absolutely. I remember one Easter, I have 3 nephews and my daughter, and we had gone someplace and hid all this candy, and then everyone was fighting and we were yelling at the kids, and my husband said, really? You sugar them up and then you start yelling at them? they're like, you're as dumb as they are right now. And so we were all laughing. It was like, yeah, well, all right. You got me.
You know what? People who have allergies, I mean, this fast food, really, do we even know what they really put in it? So if you have a hidden allergy that, you know, of course, you're not aware of, but no allergy, especially to peanuts, peanut oil, or maybe something new. Sometimes people develop allergies to food they used to eat later on in life. So how much that is a concern regarding fast food and really not knowing what's in it?
Well, I think that's exactly what it is you don't know what's in it. And, you know, some of those movies that came out that, you know, kind of opened up our eyes as to the tricks that are being played upon us. And, you know, why is that we can't make chicken taste the same as we get at certain fast food restaurants? It's because there's so many weird ingredients that, you know, stimulate our taste buds and make us to want more and sort of start the, so, I mean, it's just, it's really underhanded as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, the fact that a hamburger can sit out for 2 weeks and it doesn't change color, it doesn't grow mold, that scares me. You know, French fries look the same. An apple pie can sit on the shelf for, I mean, if it's real food, the apple pie is going to have mold on it within a week or so. So this isn't correct. Something's not right. And, you know, we're just so, I don't know, sort of lulled into how normal it is now that it's like, yeah, that's just what happens.
Well, you know what? After we're getting ready to take a break, but you know, we're going into, well, the summer season is coming. It's here, whatever. And foodborne illnesses. And it doesn't just happen in the summer, but I believe there may be an uptick in the summertime. So we'll talk about that in the next segment. And Dr. James Cooley will bring us into break.
Wow, I was locked into what you all was saying about this one, but yeah, we're gonna take a station break, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna pick it up. We're gonna talk about these 5 tips. We're gonna talk about a whole lot of things. So wherever you want to say, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching this on. Ask any questions that you might have. Dr. Julie will get you an answer because it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
All right.
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. Gotta have it, oh yeah. It's the 4 C's.
Dr. James, JC, Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell y'all, first of all, I gotta let you know that my executive producer, who I call boss, make all of these things happen. I'm talking about everything on the show. She write the show, produce the show, and kind of got us in prime time right now. So I just want to give her a shout. She didn't even know I was going to do that. I want to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for all that you do. And coming up with these great guests. And especially with the topic that we're talking about today, because I think it's so important that this need to be discussed. I think it need to be discussed at a lot of dinner tables.
And classrooms.
Not at a fast food restaurant.
No one's going to come back to your restaurant or to your house for dinner if they caught the next topic, food poisoning. No one's going to trust your cooking or wherever you bought the meal, but that segues into our next topic with Dr. Julie Gatza. Dr. Julie, food poisoning, foodborne illnesses. We've all had food poisoning. It is excruciating pain. You feel like you want to go to the hospital, and it is so unpleasant. Can you just, I think everyone knows what food poisoning is, but can you give us the textbook definition? What exactly is food poisoning?
So it's basically rotten food has bacteria that we can't process well. So it's, it could be, contaminated water, from a foreign country. It could be the fact that it was old and it was, slipped into your food at a restaurant, It could be, something that's just gone off and now we've either knowingly or unknowingly eaten it. And, the symptoms are from throwing up to diarrhea to extreme stomach pain to, white and no energy. And it continues and goes on and on and on. I mean, if you've ever had food poisoning or drank the water in a foreign country where our systems aren't acclimated to those types of bacteria, you want to die.
Yes.
It's not like, well, I've got a headache, I'll get over this. You can't believe you're still in that body because you feel like you want to die. That's how bad it can get.
Oh, it's really bad. And before we discuss the foodborne illnesses, when should a person, I guess everyone knows their own body, decide, you know what, I need to go to the emergency room? Because sometimes, there's things they can give you, or sometimes, you just let it out your system, so to speak. So I guess I'm thinking the choice to go to the emergency room if you experience a case of food poisoning is when you just can't take it anymore. Am I correct?
Yes. And I think that you probably feel like you can't take it. It's generally not a hospital visit in general, if you know what this is. However, if you're elderly, if you're immune compromised, if you already have, serious health conditions on top of it, there may be other complications that are going to, rear their ugly head during this stress on your system. But generally, people can figure out that, okay, they ate something. When you're throwing up and diarrhea at the same time, you are generally food poisoning or you've got the stomach flu. So, it's one or the other, but, probably the hospital sees a fair amount of them. And, I don't even know what they do. I mean, I know what I do and told patients when they've got it is there's two things. I'm a huge proponent of taking high quality digestive enzymes with every meal because it helps you break down your food. So
Mhm.
I always have my patients take a handful of Absorbate is the company that I use, and take this Absorbate because it breaks down the actual food, it breaks down toxins, it breaks down bacteria and viruses and inflammation. So you put that in your belly and let it go and do its own fight and rumble. And one of the other things that you can do is take activated charcoal. It can come in capsules. You should have both these things. Have this Absorbate, have this activated charcoal. And you take that and it absorbs toxins as well. So hitting that with both areas, then you just wait it out.
So you know what? Can you go and break it down? The 7 tips to prevent foodborne illnesses. I know you talked a little bit about the enzymes, but can you just go 1, 2 to 7 about what you can do to prevent foodborne illnesses?
Sure. So first of all, give your food a background check. Where is it coming from? How old is that meat? Usually you can just smell it. Look at the expiration date. I am not such a stickler on expiration dates myself, but I also came up in a family of 5. My mom was raised on a farm, and we definitely ignored those if it smelled and looked good. So I'm not, that much of a stickler, but use your common sense on it. If it's been, sitting out for a while, you probably don't want to be eating that. As far as the other aspect of this would be avoid carbonated beverages. So this is, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I was taking a look at this. Sorry. It didn't make sense, but I'm like, wait, that's not what it is. I have a couple of notes here. As far as what I've seen with a younger crowd is less of them cook. And so they haven't been taught, kitchen safety and kitchen precautions because they are allowed to order Grubhub and Uber Eats and all these things, and they're getting all this food brought in, and it's not necessarily that they're sitting around with grandmothers and parents and sisters and brothers and cooking meals anymore. So there's a lot of art in the kitchen that's been lost. So, first of all, we've all heard about washing our hands to the point that of nauseam. Of course, wash your hands. Wherever you've been, wash your hands. You're going to be handling food. The other one is don't cross-contaminate. So that would be if you're using a cutting board and you're cutting up chicken, you do not then want to put the vegetables on that cutting board and start cutting up vegetables. That chicken is a carrier of possibly salmonella, and poultry, I think, is the biggest sort of concern. So you want to hot soap and water, wash off that cutting board, wash off that knife, clean the counter again. And if you're going to use that same cutting board, then you're safe to use it and cut up your vegetables. So cross-contamination can happen with the washcloth. It can happen with the knife. It can happen with the cutting board. And so you just want to be aware of, poultry is its own sort of thing to be aware of and very, mindful. The other one is cook things to the right temperature. I believe that it's 145 was for chicken, and that's for beef. And if you get a thermometer and just start throwing it in, once you've cooked a while, you sort of get a feeling for it. Beef isn't such a big deal, but the poultry you definitely want to have cooked. People eat sushi all the time, so we're eating raw fish. So once again, the fish isn't the biggest concern. It's your turkey and your chicken and, things like that. As far as the rest of this goes is when you want to wash your vegetables, you want to, make sure that those are cleaned as well, because you also have people who have been picking those vegetables in the fields. Who knows what their, sanitation has been. So who's ever been touching it, you definitely have to wash your vegetables because of it.
I want to make a comment about vegetables and salad and everything, especially when you go to a buffet restaurant, not restaurant, but just a buffet place, and the salad, everything is out there. I'm sorry. I'm not comfortable because, you never know who's picking or using their hand. It's just one of those things you really are just taking a chance. What are your thoughts on that? And
I don't have that same thought, but it's valid. So for me, I was raised with 5 kids. we definitely, drank out of the hose, did all the, things that I think are just, certainly they build your immune system. So we've never been that sort of schooled on it, but I absolutely understand if that's your thought, then it's probably something that you want to continue to carry on with, because I don't want to change your mind on it. It's probably, correct to some degree. I mean, they have the sneeze shields on those things, and I can't tell you how many times I've hit my forehead on it, not recognizing that it's there, looking at the food, bam, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look around.
We got one more minute till the break. Can you go on to your next tip? I know
Sure.
we're talking about.
Yeah, if you're going to be cooking out, you want to use multiple coolers, or you want to pack smartly. Most people will put their beverages at the bottom, layer that with ice, and then they'll throw the meat on top. Well, that meat, if leaky, is leaking on through the ice to the beverages. You're popping things open, whatever it may be, and you're now drinking often chicken juice. And nobody wants chicken juice on their pops and beverages, or on their kids, juices themselves, because this is basically the salmonella spread in a cooler.
Chicken juice.
Because I always think of it,
We're gonna take a station break, but I'm gonna be thinking about salmonella, the chicken juice on the sodas, caps, and all that stuff when we get back. This is so interesting, and so, I mean, we all need to understand this topic so that we could prevent them getting sick and stay healthy, and also understand that you have to take care of yourself. You have to think about a lot of certain things. And sometimes it's not all about going out to the restaurant, certainly not fast food. So we're going to pick it up right after the break. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Wherever you're watching this on, ask any question that you might have, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
number one. Don't stop till the job is done. You know it starts with a try. Gotta win, gotta spread your wings, gotta fly. Lift up your head. Don't stop till it's time for the bed. No matter how hard it seems, gotta keep on pressing, gotta keep that dream. Be the best you can be. Go get your victory. Throw your hands up in the sky. Gotta be number one when you win, and you will see that there's a story, man. Now follow the plan. Gotta raise up, be a leader, make a change. It's time for you now. Take a stand. A winner, a winner, a winner. Victory, a winner, a winner, a winner, a winner. Masterpiece, take it. A winner, a winner, a winner. Victory, a winner, a winner, a winner, a winner.
Dr. James, JC, Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. And Dr. Julie, you are a winner. You're a winner. You're a winner.
Thank you.
Victory. You know, I tell you, we're in the middle of these 7 tips, and they are so valuable that want to pick up from where you and Michelle left off at.
Okay.
And I don't know which tip you was on, whether 3 or 4.
Well, I was, I think I'm on number 5. We were using multiple coolers. So that's how to avoid sort of what's happening, but how to actually help what's going on as far as avoiding all the bad bacteria is you do want to consume probiotics and fermented vegetables. You know, we have a lot of ethnicities in this country, and which each culture, they came with their own digestive aids. You've got Germans with sauerkraut. You've got the Americans with coleslaw and vinegary type dressings and pickles. You've got kimchi with Korea and ginger with Japan. And you've got all these different things that came along with the meals because they were aids into digesting food. They were also aids into avoiding things like food poisoning because we always didn't have refrigerators. So they had to get smart on how to do this. You know, germ-proof your recipes by adding antimicrobial spices. You've got things like oregano and ginger, and you've got peppermint and even hot spices to some degree, not overloaded. All these things aid digestion and help to break down and handle what's going on digestively as well. So, you know, any of these herbs, I always say herb it up. I don't want you to overspice where your tongue is burning, but you know, each one of these herbs have properties that are not just for taste, they are for health as well. And then you do want to take digestive enzymes. I can't say enough about it. You know, there's just health food stores dedicated to, you know, each single thing that they want to sell you. But, you know, a lot of people are taking multivitamins. I'm not against it, but I'm more for let's break down the food that you're eating, because the food is where the nutrition is. Let's not try to live off of nutrients from a bottle. Let's break down our food. And that's what a digestive enzyme does. So I've mentioned the Absorbaid. And the reason being is it's a vegan formula. It breaks down the proteins and the carbohydrates and your vegetables and fruits and even dairy products. So for me, healthy people should take it. Unhealthy people should take it. People are eating fast food to break down the food, and healthy people so that are healthy eaters so that they get more nutrients and wring it from their food as well.
You mentioned oregano, pepper, peppermint, and other things. How should they digest that? Should it be raw? I'm just asking. I don't know.
It's usually raw or dried, you know, or fermented where it's been, you know, put in vinegar or however it is, rice vinegar in the case of ginger. But, you know, if you go and you pick some peppermint leaves and you chew on them, they're really helpful for digestion. If you want to do it in an oil drop, you can take it that way. The reason that there's mints, not that you want to put the sugar in, it's not maybe the best source of peppermint, but those mints that you're eating often can settle the stomach as well. Pepto-Bismol, that's, you know, a peppermint base flavor. And part of that is because of the same scene. So the parsley on the plate, it's actually an aid for digestion. It's not to be shoved off onto the table and hid under the plate itself. So there's a lot of these things that, came along with it, and it does look like decoration, but it's more than decoration once you start to take a look.
The reason I mention that is our California home, which I will be back there Sunday, and I planted all of these things.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and I'm talking about peppermint, oregano, parsley, but primarily we just what you just said. I use that for food decoration. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, normally I don't eat it, but now the great doctor is telling us, say, hey, it's okay to eat those
It
things.
is okay. And there are all these, pickles. Some people like them, some people don't, fermented beets, and, all these things that you can put in a jar and ferment with, vinegar and spices. They're aids for digestion. So, if you have gas, bloating, indigestion, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux, none of that is normal. Let me tell you that again. None of it's normal. It's very common, but it's not normal. Those are just symptoms that the body is not processing and breaking down that food. So when you have any of those, even once, take a look. What did you eat? Were you able to break it down? Do you need an aid in digestive enzymes? Possibly it's a food that you shouldn't have eaten. Did you have too much? Did you eat too quickly? So really assess your digestion. I mean, it is the thing that's going to tell you right away, your litmus test on, was that a meal that was absorbed or not? And if it wasn't absorbed, you will usually have those symptoms, and they're not normal. They're just common.
Wow. We're down to the last 3.5 minutes of the show, so it's kind of like lightning round a little bit.
Yes.
Want to kind of get through all of these things. Why is staying well hydrated important for treating a lot of symptoms?
I mean, you're 80-something% water in the body, and people think drinking coffee, tea, and soda pop is their hydration. It's not. You need the water. If you want to, sweeten it or with, or flavor it with a natural lemon, lime, watermelon, peppermint, that's fine, but not flavored water as far as you're buying in a bottle. You need the water. It aids in digestion. It aids in your just overall body health, your mental acuity, your sleeping, your joints. So that's the reason.
Well, I like to flavor my water. So are you familiar with Mio, right?
Yes.
Yes. And long as I got Mio in my water, I'm good.
And you can drink it. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, getting it in at any, cost like that, it's great. It's just people often will, call any liquid hydration, and I disagree.
Yeah. So, Marcia wrote this question down, and I know it's still pertaining to food partners. She's like, what food should people not eat after they done had food partner? I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from this.
Well, pretty much your system's so beaten up. So what you do want to do is stick with broths, maybe a smoothie, something very easy, chicken and rice, small amounts, just things that aren't going to upset the body. So pretty much everything else shouldn't be eaten right after the food poisoning. If you want to just sip on water and broth for a day, go at it. It's not like you're going to have any health problems from it. It's just, it calms the whole wicked area on the inside down.
What are the importance of Michelle and I? We love broccoli, but we don't know why. Why is broccoli so important?
You love it, you said?
Yes.
I mean, it's so packed with all sorts of nutrition. It really is sort of the perfect vegetable. Some people don't break it down as well. It just happens to be their systems. But, my favorite way to tell patients to eat it is to somehow cook it, break it down a bit, whether you saute, steam, bake it. You want the cell wall broken down so that the nutrients from that vegetable are more easily absorbed. And I believe that's with all vegetables. I'm not a huge fan of salads because I think salads are harder to break down. If you're super healthy and you want to have a salad here and there, great. But if you're trying to get healthy, you want to steam or cook your vegetables just slightly so that you don't have to put so much stress on your digestion to try to get the nutrition from them.
Wow. Hey, Dr. Julie, how can people get in touch with you and enlist your services? Because they need to. And I want to talk about your product. I know you got a product, and we've got about a minute and a half.
Okay. So
Uh,
I've been mentioning the Absorbaid, which is a high quality digestive enzyme. Out of 34 years of being in practice, I haven't found anything better. I've been using it for years and years. And you can go to the website, which is naturesources.com. You can get some free samples on that website. You can find out the different forms that it comes in. It's good for your kids, your elderly, yourself, even your dogs. It aids your animals into having better nutrition from the food that they're actually eating as well. And then you can go to the 1-800 number, use the code radio, and they will also send you free samples or 20% off your first order. So this company I love so much because they're so generous. They really want you to experience the fact that these things actually will aid and help you in many areas digestively. That 1-800 number is 1-800-827-7656.
we're gonna make sure we get that number out there. And I tell you, Dr. Julie, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. We hope you guys send me and Michelle some free samples, and starting next week.
All right.
Hey, and this bang, boom, you know, and I think
That's
you know
perfect.
what I'm talking about. But
Thank
I want to thank you for taking the time to come on the show today. You always bring so much insight and so much knowledge and wisdom to us. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our listeners and viewers for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, beginning Monday through Friday, live on 59 platforms at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I just want you to everybody to always remember to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.
you.